I'm Charles Barthold. I was in the first graduating class from Parkway West High School in 1969. I'm a photojournalist for KARE 11 Television in Minneapolis. The memories of high school are kind of strange because this was Parkway West. We were in the first class. The school was actually still under construction during the school year. The rooms that we had classes in weren't rooms the following year. The band room was actually designed as the garage for the groundskeepers. So those are the kind of, I mean, they're the really quirky things that I remember from the school. I mean, there are little bits and pieces. I know we did a marching band trip and that sort of thing, but it's still that first year because Parkway was in a period of transition, and those are the things that I really remember from the school district. All education, is important, and the background that Parkway gave to continue. I went to Iowa State University. Again, it was a broad-based education. As a photojournalist, I still need to have all of the journalism skills. I also need the photography skills. So I need to be able to walk into a situation, ask questions, sound intelligent, at least knowing somewhat of the subject, and to be able to have an intelligent conversation with the person with whom I'm talking. Without a broad, good education, which started in the Parkway district, that'd be impossible. And that's something that's important for anybody that wants to go into broadcasting now. The industry is changing so much. We're not sure what exactly it's going to look like a year from now. We've had jobs that used to be specialized jobs with people with engineering training that we've had to take over. So that broad base allows us to take over some of those functions and still continue and doing the core things that we wanted to do. One of the questions that comes up is, what teacher, did a teacher influence the career choice? No, because I always wanted to replace Walter Cronkite. Obviously, Dan Rather did that first, and so I missed out on that. But that was something that early on, the teachers noted. Mrs. Kennedy, Mr. Klein, English, world history. There was Mr. Wagner with band, Mr. Buss with mathematics, Mr. Jerling was with physics. I mean, so you remember some of those people, and they were all, I mean, the combination of Kennedy and Klein really was working so that you could express yourself, so you could understand what was going on around you, and that was one of those dynamic connections between two teachers where, while they had two different disciplines, they were all striving for the same goal, which was a well-rounded student able to go out into the world and achieve whatever they were able to. Both Mr. Klein and Mrs. Kennedy, played on my infatuation, my goal of replacing Walter Cronkite, and so CBS became Charlie Barthold Speaks. And so that was written on projects. One of the projects for Mr. Klein's class was on impressionism and art, and I had found a big CBS eye, and it was you could see all the printing dots. How printing ink puts the different dots together, and your eye sees it as black. But that became the impressionistic dot, and again, that tied in with wanting to be Walter Cronkite's replacement. My first job was with WHO in Des Moines. It was a part-time job. When a full-time job became available, the news director decided that I should become a full-time photographer for them and do reporting as a secondary portion of the job. So that's really where the shift came. Up until that time, I was still working on replacing Walter Cronkite. The station for which I work is noted for its photojournalism. There's really not any place, in the country where you can really go and stick with the quality that we achieve, whether it's doing what I do on a daily basis, which is not working with reporters, but going out and finding all the little stories that fill in between, or whether it's working with a reporter. We have to have a consistency, and a good consistency across the board, and our station has been noted for it numerous times. There really isn't another place to go. It's a good place, and it's the top. Well, one of the notable things that that I achieved was the Peabody Award, which was awarded in 1977. At the time, I was the youngest person ever to have received one, and that was for a tornado spinning in the wrong direction. It was rather unique. It was the first time that had ever been documented on film with independent documentation on the ground that it was spinning the wrong direction. What prepares you for that? A good, solid foundation. You go out and do what you're supposed to do, and then you can follow up, and it ended up opening up a whole new opportunity to people that study tornadoes. This proved to them, yes, these do exist. Now we need to figure out how they work and what this means to forecasting tornadoes. How do we protect nuclear power plants? All sorts of other things for these storms that spin the wrong direction. So it's, there are lots of challenges out there. You go from tornadoes to murders to Cuban refugees. Went to Thailand for Cambodian refugees coming across the border. Almost was shot by a free Khmer who. Fortunately, her AK-47, she did release the safety on it. It apparently wasn't open season on Western journalists, but I was shooting her from an angle down below, and that distracted her. She looked down at me. All of the refugees that she was guarding, because they were trying to get $100 apiece from them, all took that as an opportunity. She wasn't paying. They started across the border. You can see her on the videotape take the safety off, fire a shot in the air. All she had to do was bring that weapon down 90 degrees, and I wouldn't be here talking to you today. A broad-based education is essential. We're doing more things for the web. We don't know what we're going to be doing next year as opposed to this year. Broadcast companies, and this applies also to newspapers, they're all trying to figure out where they fit in this ever-changing information world. We're doing a lot more web stuff. Newspapers are doing web stuff. Well, if we all do the same thing and we do it poorly, nobody's going to buy it. However, we earn the money. So we have to be able to do it well, and we have to have that broad-based education to be able to talk to people, find out what's going on. A lot of stories aren't simple yes and no answers, and you need to know what questions to ask when you're talking to somebody to get the information that's going to help everybody.